What's up, everybody? What is up? What is up? How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Give me just 1 second. I'm pulling the chat up on my phone so I can actually see what people are saying. And I'm gonna see if I can do this stream without having to put my cat Momo in a different room. Well, I don't think I can. She's trying to box me right now. Hold on, give me 1 second, chat. She just has a ton of energy, dude, and like wants me to like fight with her all the time, especially when I'm trying to do streams, and it like distracts me from the stuff I'm talking about. Momo, come on, buddy. Here, 1 second, chat. I gotta put her in a different room. 1 second. Come on, buddy. Come on. Come on. 1 second, chat. All right. Okay. Sorry about that. I am back. Sorry about that, everybody. Yeah, I just had to put my my cat Momo in a different room, and that's usually a battle in and of itself. But what's up, everybody? What's up? How are you guys doing? Are you guys able to hear me pretty well? Anime Monarch, what's up? Let me know in the chat if you guys are actually able to hear me. Is the audio good? Hunter Grandmaster, you said it's good? Alright, sick. What's up, everybody? What's up, Snillium? What's up, Juan? What's up, Evil Gru? Inverse Diablo, what's up? What's up, Eric? What's up? Alright. What's up, everybody? So today we're going to be... Sorry I'm out of breath. I had to chase Momo around my apartment. But yeah, today we're going to be talking about how strong are the Zodiac, and we're going to be ranking them amongst each other as well, and kind of giving you guys an idea of how strong they are like throughout the entire verse. So here's something. I was thinking of titling this The Zodiac Are Underrated, and just having it be a stream where I just go super in detail about like their power scaling. And I did do that, like that. I have like the slides out for that here. But then I decided at the end, like, you know what, I'll just rank them too. So if you're watching this as a video and you want to just get to the ranking portion, the ranking portion is probably going to be the last 20 minutes of the stream. But for the next, I don't know, like 45 minutes, maybe an hour or so, we're just going to be going in depth, talking about like a bunch of power scaling things for the Zodiac members. This live stream is actually going to be meant to be kind of viewed like together with the video that I'm posting tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm posting Zodiac versus the Royal Guard, and really like everything I talk about here, these are all points that like I wanted to put into the Zodiac versus Royal Guard video. But if I did that video would have been like an hour long. So this is pretty much just like all the extra stuff that I cut out of that video. So like once that video goes out, you'll be able to watch that and then come back to this to get like all the additional parts basically. But so yeah, what we're gonna do, I'm gonna go through the scaling for all these different Zodiac members. Once again, this isn't even like the main stuff. The main stuff will be in my video tomorrow, but like this is all the additional stuff that I wanted to include but just cut out because it would have taken too long. Like the video would have been too long. And yeah, so we'll go through the scaling, then we'll go through the ranking. And like when I'm going through the ranking, I'll be a lot more interactive, like reading the chat a lot more, all right? So all right, let's get started. So Paper Rhino, what's up, bro? What's up, everybody? Okay, so yeah, let's get started. So this first panel, these first two panels we have here give us a little bit of an idea on how powerful the Zodiac members are in general, and also gives us a bit of an understanding on like how strong Periston is too. There's just different things that you can scale from these two panels. So on the left-hand panel, Periston's talking about how strong Netero was. He says, Chairman Netero was too powerful. He never understood the weaker hunters. The same goes for all of you. So there's a bunch of different ways you can interpret this statement. One way you could interpret it, if you're highballing it, that's Periston straight up saying like all of the Zodiac are like in a relative tier to Netero. That's like the highest highball you could say. It's just you guys are so much, you are way too strong to understand how a weak hunter feels the same way Netero did. Like a medium ball interpretation is that these guys might be somewhat, at least the higher end Zodiac would be like somewhat relative to Netero. Or like the lowest low ball interpretation you could take of this panel is that maybe just like one or two of the Zodiac are relative to Netero and no one else is, and Periston's just straight up lying to their face. There's a bunch of different ways you can interpret that, really. And then in the right-hand panel, we see there's a scene where all of the Zodiac get angry at Periston except for Ging. Ging is just an unbothered individual. He doesn't really care about anything. But like they all get angry at him and Periston doesn't show any fear at all. And it also should be noted that Periston is the vice chairman. He was like the second in command technically. So like this scene could be interpreted in a bunch of different ways too. That like Periston would be fine with fighting multiple Zodiac members at once and wouldn't really care. Or you could just say like Periston doesn't care about his life, and if they killed him here, he just wouldn't have cared either. He's just kind of an insane person. But let's keep going. So when they're introduced in the manga, they're straight up stated to be the 12 Zodiac. They are 12 of the top hunters in the entire Hunter Association. That doesn't mean that they're the automatic top 12. They're just 12 really strong hunters that Netero like recognized individually and chose to be part of this like elite force. And one of the things they have to do is they have to spar Netero in Netero's free time. So that's also something that kind of leads to the idea of some of them being relative to Netero. Like a good way to think about it is like, well, we get a little bit more information on what the Zodiacs know about each other, and there's some information saying like a lot of them didn't know the other Zodiac members' abilities. So we don't know if they knew Netero's ability either. Maybe they were just sparring like in base form, like they spar without using Hatsu. Maybe that's what was happening. But even if that's the case, that's insane, because that would imply they would have like relative amounts of aura to Netero, some of them. So, but yeah, we don't know how much they were holding back. But it's just crazy that these guys are all able to spar Netero. And we see later, like with the Succession War, they're all tasks with missions that like are stated to be something more dangerous than what Netero could handle, and none of them care. Like, none of them show any fear at facing creatures stronger than Netero. Like, it's thrown around multiple times in the Succession War that, like, hey, when we get to the Dark Continent, we're going to fight beasts stronger than the ones that killed Netero. And literally, I genuinely mean none of them care. Like, none of them, bro. Yeah, now here's a panel where they were all first introduced. And there's some really interesting stuff in this panel. The most insane... Like, there's a lot of different things you can get from this panel, but the most insane thing I'm not even going to talk about in the stream. I'm saving that for tomorrow's video. But I'll talk about some of the lesser feats that are in this, like, one panel, because they're still impressive. So one of them is you have Ging here, who we know is a top 5 Nen user, at the bare minimum a top 5 Nen user, because he could have got the title, like, a long time ago. I'll talk about that more tomorrow. But, we see him here. He straight up like is challenging Sayu to a battle to the death, and Sayu does not care. He's like, bro, bring it on. I don't care. Another thing we see here is if you look like under Jing's title, like it says their name and then the zodiac symbol that they represent. Under Ging, Ging is the only one stated to be an exception. So we don't exactly know what that means, but he's the only one who has that title. Like they all have their name and then like what symbol they represent. But Ging also has something in parentheses that says an exception. That could mean a bunch of different things. Maybe it's just talking about like his personality. He's just like the most unpredictable one there. Or it could mean that he's just like straight up the strongest one there. Let me know in the comments what you guys think they mean by like Ging being an exception. Or maybe he got his zodiac symbol through unconventional means. Like who really knows? It could mean a bunch of different things. But he's the only one here who has like the in parentheses an exception under his title. Okay, now this right here is the main reason why the Zodiac get massively underrated, because like I've done polls with the Zodiac a few times, and something I continuously see is people just calling the Zodiac fodder. Tanua, what's up, bro? How's it going, everybody? What's up, Christian? What's up, all you guys? But something I notice is like the Zodiac are constantly called fodder by a lot of the community. And I'm pretty sure it comes from this scene with Hisoka here, where Hisoka is looking at the different Zodiac members and he's giving them a rating. Now, in the anime, like the scale is like 77 to 90 are like the different numbers he gives. But in the Viz manga, they just like divide that by 10. So instead of 77, it's 7.7. Instead of 90, it's 9, etc., etc. It's the same thing. It's just like instead of a scale of 77 to like 100, it's 7.7 to 10, right? So here's the thing. There's a bunch of different things to talk about here. So first off, we don't exactly know what Hisoka's scaling. He could be scaling any number of different things. He could be scaling, for example, their potential, like his idea of the potential he sees in them. He could be scaling like how dangerous they seem at a first glance. Or he could be scaling like how much total aura they have. That's actually, the total aura is what I actually think he's scaling, just because we see other hunters do it throughout the series. Like Knuckle, the narrator says Knuckle can instantly tell how much aura a person has. We see where it's implied that Netero's doing that when he looks at Pito and says that one's stronger than me. Colt does a similar thing when he sees Netero's Ren, and Netero's like, how would I stack up to the Royal Guards? He's like, well, how would I stack up to Meruem? He's like, you're weaker than the Royal Guards just by looking at his Ren. So it's like, and even Killua does it when he says like, I can, when he sees Netero, Morel, and No for the first time, he's like, now that I know Nen, I can tell you guys are extremely powerful, but you're still weaker than Pito. It's like characters do that all throughout the series. So I think that's what Hisoka's scaling here. But at the end of the day, it's kind of up for interpretation. But here's the big thing I want to focus on is if you look in the bottom right-hand panel, after he looks at all these different pro hunters that all have way lower numbers than the Zodiac do, he says, not much to write home about, even among the pros. I guess I should go after the Zodiacs next. So what that's showing you is, even though Hisoka's not like freaking out the same way he did when he sees Illumi, because the 9.5 is Illumi standing right next to him. Even though he's not freaking out the same way he does like when he sees Illumi, he still thinks that the Zodiac are like worthy fighters. Like he's thinking that they're worthy enough to be his next foes. And like Hisoka, his whole thing is just going after the strongest people. Also, this is Hisoka planning on who he'll fight after Crollo, because at this point in Hisoka's still hunting down Crollo. He has not fought Crollo yet. So in his mind, he's like, yeah, after I kill Crollo, I guess I'll fight the Zodiacs after that. Okay, so another way to interpret it is maybe he's comparing them all to Crollo. Maybe he's comparing them all to Crollo. That's another thing, because he's like, these are the people he's thinking like, okay, after I'm done boxing Crollo, what am I going to do next? The pros aren't that much, but I guess the Zodiacs, you know, there's a bunch of different ways you could interpret what this number might mean. Okay, but here's the big thing that I wanted to talk about. like the general consensus in the community is that Hisoka is the implied 10 or the implied 100 if you're watching the anime. And all of these numbers are still pretty close to him. Like 8.5 is not that far away from 10. 9 is almost the exact same as 10. You know, like these are not that far off from a 10. And really like not that far off from a 9.5. If 9.5 is all it takes to like really impress him, then this sheep Zodiac on the left who had a 9 is pretty close. It's pretty close. And also like, hold on, let me look at these numbers again. 7.7, and then where's the 8? Someone had an 8, right? You see a 7.7, you see a 9. Someone had 8.5. Yeah, so look, another thing you can notice in the manga is he has different like emoji symbols next to the number depending on how high the number is. So like when he looks at the tiger Zodiac, he gives him an 8.5 and it has a heart. When he looks at the sheep Zodiac, he gives him a 9.0 and has a heart. And then when he looks at the rabbit Zodiac, he gives her a 7.7 and there's no heart there. So it's like from Hisoka's scale, if you're 8.5 and up, you might be worth boxing. Think about that. Like, because like he gives those two a heart. The only one who doesn't give a heart is the bunny Zodiac girl. And then the 9.5 is enough to like really interest him a lot, which is Illumi, who we know is like about dead even with Hisoka anyway. Now, like the reason I'm mentioning all of that is because Bisky kind of goes into detail on this. Like if you look at the panel on the right, this is Bisky talking about like how Nen battles work. And if you guys are somewhat close in power, the weaker person overall can beat the stronger person overall, depending on their conditions at the time. So like, if you look at all of this stuff and let's use Hisoka's same scale, right? And let's assume Hisoka's the 10. The sheep guy's a 9. The tiger guy's an 8.5. That girl is like a 7.7. If we put it on this scale, right? The scale that's on the right, Hisoka would be the D. Okay. And then the 9.0 guy would be an A. The 8.5 guy would be a C. And the 7.7 girl would be a B. Literally, all of them can beat Hisoka. If Hisoka is like on his worst day and they have all the advantages. So things like they know what his ability is. They have a plan going into the fight ahead of time. And then it's Hisoka's worst day. Maybe he's tired. Different things like that affecting his condition. They're all capable of defeating Hisoka like on his worst day. And the A rank guy, who would be the 9.0, would be close to beating Hisoka like if he's even slightly off his best game. So it's like the big thing to keep in mind is like Nen battles have so many variables to them. Like if all Hisoka's doing is measuring the aura of his opponents, and that's it. Like there's a lot of ways Hisoka could lose these fights, even to these people he's like not really hyping up that much. And to be completely honest, there's a great chance these guys aren't even like the strongest of the Zodiac. So imagine characters like Ging, what Ging would have been on this scale. Because that's who he was actually there looking for. He was looking for Ging anyway. And we don't even know what Ging would have been on his scale, but Ging would absolutely demolish Hisoka. Like, if Hisoka's the 10 on this scale, I wouldn't be surprised if Ging was like a 20. But let me know what you guys think about that. Super Drum said we need an Illumi video. I can do an Illumi video for you guys. And yeah, like this concept of like underestimating his opponents, this is actually some like in the fact that people close to him in power can beat him on depending on the right conditions. That's actually something Hisoka himself agrees with now after fighting Crollo. He says like, yeah, it's difficult to win against someone of Crollo's caliber under his ideal conditions. That's something Hisoka's saying. And he just had never really realized that before because Hisoka was just cooking everyone he fought for such a long time. It made him overconfident. Okay. So now we're just talking about like how even some of the like weaker looking Zodiacs still have achieved things that are just actually insane. So Cheadle's actually the current chairman right now. Like Cheadle took Netero's position after the election arc. And I mean, like you look at Cheadle and she does not look like a fighter type, but she's a triple star hunter, and so is Pariston. Okay, so like the reason why I'm saying that is because like there's less than 10 triple star hunters in the entire world of Hunter x Hunter, and like probably about half of them are all in the Zodiac. Like the Zodiac have at least 3 triple stars, at least 3 of them. And Ging could also be a triple star, but he's just so lazy he never filled out the paperwork. Yeah, Botobai is another one of the triple stars. And Botobai's Botobai, he's stated to be the advisor in the Zodiac, and he was very close to Netero. He's also stated to be the oldest member of the Zodiac, so he might have been Netero's friend in the same way that like Zoldyck was Netero's friend. I mean, if you look him up in the Hunter x Hunter wiki, it says that he was fiercely loyal to Netero. And I was looking through the manga to see any statements where it specifically said that. I couldn't find any, but I think they were basing it off of this, that he's like the advisor to the Zodiac and is stated to be close to the previous chairman. Now on the right, these are like the different things that are required to get 1 star, 2 stars, and 3 stars. Okay. Something to be noted is like Gon and Killua still don't have a single star yet, but I think the main reason Gon and Killua don't have a star, like I think Gon and Killua should have gotten a star after Chimera Antark, to be completely honest with you. But I think the main reason they don't have one is because they haven't like became a specialized type of hunter yet. They're still like technically rookies, but like all these other hunters, they have like a title attached to them. Like they have like gourmet hunters, or Kurapika's I think Kurapika's literally just stated to be a bounty hunter. Like most hunters have like some kind of specialized field that they focus on. So I think that's the main reason why Gon and Killua don't have a star yet. But let's see here. So it says if you look on the right-hand panel, you get 1 star if you produce remarkable achievements in a particular field. So like that's why I think Gon and Killua don't have a star, because they don't have a specialized field yet. 2 stars is right underneath that. It's given to hunters who fulfill the 5 articles, so like all previous 5 rules, and holds an official position and has mentored a junior hunter who also got a star. So like Bisky is a double star hunter, for example. So I think Wing might have a single star too. Wing might have a single star, even though I think Wing is just an actual fraud. Wing might have a single star, or like someone else Bisky taught in the past has become a single star hunter. Basically, like to be a double star hunter, you need to be a powerful single star hunter and then train someone else to become a powerful single star hunter. And you need to get a official position. I'm not exactly sure what the official position would represent. Okay. Now to Oscar said, do you know what it means to be a triple star hunter? Yep, that's right here. So to be a triple star hunter, it says Article 7. It said it's given to a hunter who fulfills the 6 articles. So all 6 things that are listed here, like Article 1 through 6 on the right-hand side, you have to do all of those. And produce remarkable achievements in multiple fields. So it's like you're a very powerful hunter. You get your single star and like achieve great things in your field. Then you train another hunter, at least one other hunter, to also become a single star hunter and achieve great things in their field. Then you go on and achieve remarkable things in multiple other fields at the same time. So that's what a triple star hunter is. And like, that's such a, like, another way to word it is like, basically it's like becoming a single star hunter multiple times over. And only less than 10 hunters in the whole association have achieved that. Okay. Anime Monarch said, what type of hunter do you think Killua would be? I don't know. I mean, Killua, he's not really an ambitious guy the way Gon is. Like, Killua kind of just wants to be a normal person and chill. Honestly, I don't know. He doesn't really have, like, a specific thing he wants to look after. Gon would be probably, I don't know. I don't even know what Gon would be. Gon is just adventurous, so, like, he would probably be, like, a discovery type hunter, like, someone who's constantly discovering new things. I'd have to look into what type of hunter Kite was. Like, whatever type of hunter Kite was, Gon would probably be something like that. Killua just kind of wants to chill with his family and not really worry about nothing. All right. So now let's just start looking at different feats of the Zodiac. So, like, this is something that Ging displays. He grabs this dude and using just raw intimidation alone, has this guy visualize what would have happened if they actually fought each other, which is Ging would have just turned this guy's face into like pretty much like mashed potatoes. And I don't think this is his Hatsu ability. I think this is just raw intimidation, because we have later statements from Ging saying like Pariston was still trying to figure out what his ability was. So I don't think this is his ability. I think this is just straight up. I think this is just straight up like raw aura farming from Ging, to be honest. All right, now this cow guy, I think his name is Misa Stome. I might be mispronouncing his name, but one of the Hatsu abilities he displays is he can just freeze people in their tracks. We don't know the limitations to this. Like, I don't know if he can just freeze anybody. Like, would he be able to just freeze, like, Royal Guard members? Would he be able to freeze someone like Meruem? Or do they all need to be, like, around as strong as he is? Also, I don't know how long they stay frozen either. Like, his card says he won't allow any violence. So, like, before he uses it, he says, I won't allow any violence, right? So maybe that's like one of the conditions on the Nen ability. It's like you have to attack him first in order for the card to freeze you. We don't know. We don't know the limits to this power. It just freezes these guys. And if you look in the right-hand panel, they all look like they can't see what's happening. And then one of the guys uses Gyo, and he can see they're all trapped in like these invisible boxes. So that lets you know his Hatsu ability like uses Een as well. Like that's the same thing that it's the same thing that Hisoka does to make his bungee gum invisible. And it's the same thing Kurapika does to make his chains look invisible. So, like, if you can't use Gyo, it just looks like you're just frozen and you don't know why. But he might have other cards, too. Like, he could have a whole list of cards that all do different things. And he also says, like, he will immobilize them as many times as they resist over and over. So it seems like it's something he can just continuously do. Hold on, let me take a drink of this water. All right. Okay. Now another thing. Another thing is this guy actually gives us a statement on Beyond Netero that I haven't really seen anyone talk about before. Sorry about that. I drank that water like far too quickly. That was a mistake on my part. But okay, so he also talks about Beyond Netero. And yeah, I haven't seen anyone talk about this statement before, but Netero had like forbidden Beyond from going to the Dark Continent. He like gave him a restriction that forbade him from going to the Dark Continent. And this cow guy, he's like, I can even imagine Netero was half hoping his son would come after his life one day. So, like, what this tells us is that if Misa Stone's correct, like he probably is, Netero viewed Beyond as a worthy opponent. Like, Netero, if you're highballing it, Netero might have actually viewed Beyond as, like, the worthy opponent he was looking for, you know? Because he said he can imagine that Netero was half hoping his son would like try and kill him one day. Like that's something Netero wanted him to try. So like maybe Beyond is like somewhat relative to Netero after all. Maybe Beyond would have been able to give Netero like the battle he was looking for all that time. Now we can start looking at Sayu's abilities. So Sayu is actually completely broken. Like, we saw that he showed zero fear at the idea of boxing Ging, even though we know that Jing's a top 5 Nen user. So that's actually insane. Like, anyone who would willingly square up with Ging is either dumb as bricks or actually super strong. There's really no in between. There's just genuinely no in between. You don't fight a top 5 Nen user knowingly and show zero fear unless you're cracked or you're absolutely, like, just dumb. Okay, and I don't think Sayu's dumb. Like, I think he's just cracked. Okay, so like He explains his Hatsu ability. It's see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. And he says that if he hits you 3 times in succession, you lose your vision, your hearing, and your ability to speak. And he says that ability should work on beyond Netero as well. Now the reason why that and then after he does that, he just beats people up while they're like completely unable to see, hear, or speak. He just beats the daylights out of them. And he said it's really interesting if you read the upper right hand panel here. He says what's funny is enhancers are rarely affected, but they panic the most. They panic the most when they lose their senses, and their aura flow makes their moves obvious. So he's like, enhancers are still strong, even like I would assume he's talking about really strong enhancers, right? He wouldn't be saying this about like freaking Phantom Troop Art Gone. But like a really powerful enhancer, they're still strong even without their senses, but they start panicking. And their aura flow makes their moves obvious. So like he can predict their moves looking at the flow of their aura, which is the same thing Knuckle does when he fights Gon, because Gon's inexperienced. He can just see what his next move's going to be by looking at the flow of the aura. Genthru does that to Gon as well. But yeah, this is just a really broken Hatsu. He can pretty much 3-shot anyone, just about anyone. They go blind, deaf, and can't speak anymore. And he says that this would work on Beyond Netero too, even though Beyond is super powerful. And what makes this scene really interesting is like Kurapika is using his Hatsu ability to see who's telling the truth and who's lying. And Kurapika said he's definitely telling the truth about his ability, and he's on Beyond's side. Okay, and he also says he's relieved that he doesn't have to lie. He's resigned to stating just the facts. So that means, like, in Sayu's mind, this would work on Beyond. He's like, in his mind, like, Sayu can see himself beating Beyond, essentially. And Beyond might literally be stronger than Netero. And, like, all of this is also backed up by, like, what we were saying at the beginning, where Pariston says, Netero was too powerful. He never understood the weaker hunters. The same goes for all of you. This is all just like more fuel to the idea that like a good number of these Zodiacs legit might be just straight up relative to Netero. A good number of them might be. Okay. Now, here's another thing. This is a scene where they have 3 Zodiac members watching over Beyond Netero in a cell. They have him in a prison cell, and this is like part of their mission towards going to the Dark Continent, right? So here's something to really think about. On this mission, bro, all the Zodiac know full well that Netero died fighting the Chimera Ants. They all know that the Dark Continent is filled with beings stronger, well, more dangerous than the Chimera Ants. Not a single word or dialogue of fear from any of them. They literally don't care. The only one who showed any worry was Leorio. That's it. It was just Leorio. Leorio's like, hey, yo, there's no way we're actually going to go to this mission where beings are stronger than the ones that killed Netero, and we have to keep Beyond Netero in check at the same time. No one else cares. No one else is even slightly worried. Then we have here on the left-hand panel, this is Beyond Netero actually like in a jail cell, and they have 3 Zodiac members watching over him. Okay, so if you want to highball Beyond Netero, you could say Beyond Netero on his own is like somewhat on par with 3 Zodiac members. But even the Zodiac themselves like question that idea. Like, you see the Tiger Zodiac, he's like, do we really need 3 of us watching him? And then Sayu's like, okay, then you should leave. You're the weakest one here. We'll be better off without you. And then the Tiger's like, well, right back at you. They're like kind of arguing, right? If you take Sayu's statement literally, then that would mean the Horse Zodiac and Sayu are stronger than the Tiger. Yo, Snellium, thanks for becoming a member, bro. I appreciate that, man. You'll get access to all of the gaming live streams now. So yeah, thanks for becoming a member, dude. I appreciate that. I try to make a good amount of members only content for you guys too. which right now is just like the gaming videos. I just save all of those to members only. So hopefully you enjoy those. And I also have a members only playlist where I have some I think like 6 or 7 power scaling videos I saved to there just for you guys. So enjoy those, Snillium. But okay, another thing, back to talking about this. On the right hand panel, that's them talking about, okay, yeah, maybe this is too much manpower for Beyond. And we should talk about just rotating, so only one of us is here watching Beyond. And then we see later in the arc, that's actually what they end up doing. They switch from having 3 people watching Beyond to just 1 person watching Beyond. And it's just Kanzai, the like Tiger Zodiac. He's just watching Beyond by himself now. And like their conversation between each other is actually very interesting. So, like, Beyond's asking for a new book, and Kanzai's like, no, they're not allowed to. We're not allowed to give you pen, paper, anything. For security reasons, we can't give you, like, anything at all. And then Beyond's like, if I wanted to, I could just kill you with this book. And Kanzai doesn't care. He's like, got it, super scared, bro. And he's like, but hey, do you have any other questions? Like, he shows no fear towards Beyond, even though it would be a 1v1 if he had to fight him. He shows no fear. So it's like, this is something, like, you have to really pay attention to the Zodiac and how they're responding to these, like, Netero tier threats. It's completely nonchalant. They don't care, bro. And, like, the reason I'm going into detail saying all of this is because Netero is gassed up by the community as, like, the #1 hunter. But from the Zodiac's perspective, he's another hunter. That's it. like Netero was super strong, yes, but, like, it's kind of shown over and over again that the Zodiac did not think he was, like, far out of their reach. Like, at all. And it's just kind of shown over and over and over again in this upcoming arc. Now, this is, like, one of the most, like... This is, like, just completely them being so casual about it. Like, this is them just talking about the mission. They're like, okay, so yeah, we're going to go to the Dark Continent. And if you look at the top left upper bubble, they're talking about all the monsters. They're like, and so the danger ranking of all 5 range from B+ to A, all above the Chimera Ants who were B. Our mission is to overcome any one of them and return with hope, something to benefit mankind. Something to benefit mankind. And you look at all of them, bro. They're casual. They don't care, bro. They don't care at all. Brother, they literally don't care. Look at the horse Zodiac in the bottom right. He looks baked, bro. He looks baked. He looks like he just got done chilling with Snoop, bro. Like, none of them care. They're like, all right, bet, who cares, bro? Like, let's get this over with. Get to the snacks. They don't care, bro. I don't know why, like, so many people overlook this, but, like, the Zodiac literally do not care that they're fighting things stronger than Netero. It doesn't bother them. None of them even speak about it. They're like, all right, bet, let's just get this meeting over with. We do not care. They handle it so nonchalantly the entire time. And then we have like how they're going to split into teams going to the Dark Continent. This is how they're going to split into different teams. It's a defense-based team, a science team, and an intelligence team. And there's also a flora team, which I think has something to do with medicine. If I understood that right. Yeah, I think it's something like that. But anyway, the defense-based team, their mission is just destroy any threats that, like, challenge them during the Dark Continent mission. And the people that are on the defense team are Sayu, Botobai, and then the Tiger guy. So you would assume that those 3 would be, like, some of the strongest ones there. But I mean, based on Sayu's original statement, the horse Zodiac would be stronger than the Tiger one. And the horse Zodiac is just an intelligence member. So it's like, the idea I get from this is, like, all of the Zodiac are just, like, pretty well-rounded fighters. Like, pretty well-rounded Nen users. They were chosen by Netero for a reason. Okay. Now here we see a little bit more of like what Ging is capable of. Ging states he can generally copy any punching ability he's been hit with. It's just a talent he has. The reason I bring this up is because we know that Ging became a top 5 Nen user at some point in the past. Oh, a donation from Derek. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that a lot. He said Derek said they might be underestimating the Dark Continent. Netero and his team did to an extent, bro. He realized it wasn't about strength but survival. That's a fair point. But I don't think they're underestimating Netero since they were all his sparring partner. And here's the thing, like, they know Netero died fighting them. I actually have a... So, I have this panel here. They know that Netero didn't even beat them fairly. Like Ging says in this left-hand panel, the day Netero blew himself up, 100 Hunter Association blimps went to East Gortel. So, like, they know that Netero didn't overpower the Chimera Ants. They know Netero used the Rose Bomb. Like, they know it was so strong, Netero couldn't handle it, had to blow himself up. They're all aware of this stuff, and yet they're like, all right, we're going to fight a whole horde of people way stronger than that. Any questions, any objections? And they look like they just got done chilling with Snoop. No one cares. Like, the idea of fighting things so powerful that Netero needed the Rose Bomb literally bores them. Like, I mean, they're cracked, okay? Like, they're just, I mean, here's the thing. There's really only two possibilities here. Either the Zodiac are the stupidest characters in the entire story, or they're some of the strongest characters in the entire story. It really can't be one or the other. It has to be one or the other, I mean. They're either literally some of the strongest characters in the entire story, or they're some of the dumbest in the entire story. Now, granted that they all spar Netero, and that Pariston himself is like saying that you guys, just like Netero, are too strong to understand weak hunters. And they're showing no fear towards things so strong, stronger than things Netero needed the Rose Bomb for. I'm going to say that there's much more evidence suggesting that they're not stupid. So, yeah. Now, talking about Ging, he was stated to have become a top 5 Nen user in the past, and I think I have the panel like way down here. Hold up. Like in the anime, the version of Ging they show when he became a top 5 Nen user is like 20-year-old Ging. It's like the same Ging that like defeated Razor. Do I have that? Yeah, right here. Look on the right-hand panel. This is like the Ging who beat Razor. And then this is the Ging who's a top 5 Nen user in the anime. This could be Ging like a freaking decade ago, guys. Like, Ging is young. He's 32 years old right now. If you're highballing this, Ging could have became a top 5 Nen user when he was 22 years old. And then likely has just become much stronger since then, especially when you factor in that Ging can generally imitate any punching ability he's been hit with, and we literally see him do a better version of Leorio's technique like after being hit by it. Just imagine how many punching techniques he's been hit by over the past whole decade. Like, the depth of his like different abilities he has could be insane. Like, just that alone, just Ging getting beaten up by different people, that alone would make him way more powerful than he was when he became a top 5 Nen user. And then when you factor in what we were saying earlier, how Bisky states that like people of varying conditions can beat each other, like if you want to lowball Ging and say out of the top 5 Nen users, when you say top 5, he really could be number 5 or number 4, because that would mean like that, because top 5 is a different statement than top 3. Like top 3 is kind of its own like term, you know. But if you're lowballing Ging and say maybe he was just the 5th strongest 10 years ago, he was letter E on this chart, that means he could have still beaten number 3 and number 4 on their worst days, or if they weren't in their best condition, or if he had information on their technique, you know. And it's like he might have had up to a decade after that to get stronger, preparing to reach the Dark Continent. It's like, bro, I think we really need to start discussing the possibility that Ging might just be stronger than Netero. Like, I think we really got to start talking about that. Because, I mean, even Netero himself said he hasn't been the #1 Nen user in over 50 years. Like, there's such a good chance that not only Ging has surpassed him, but a couple other ones of the Zodiac too. There's a real chance, guys. I'm gonna just be honest. There really is a chance that, like, the top 3 Zodiac might all be stronger than Netero. There's a real, genuine chance of that. I'm not saying it's for certain, but, like, just looking at how they're all, like this guy thinks he could 1v1 Beyond, and Beyond might be stronger than Netero. Sayu thinks he could 1v1 Ging, and Ging might be stronger than Beyond. It's like there's a lot here to suggest a lot of these guys might be relative to Netero, and some of them might be superior. And another thing about Ging, like, that this panel shows on the left-hand side is Ging most likely also knows how to use N. Because he's mimicking Leorio's technique, and he says, like, you can use aura like an ultrasound, and he said, but it's harder to detect than N, meaning, like, he knows what it's like to detect things with N. But this is also kind of, like, self-explanatory, because Jing's student Kite had, like, above a Nen master's level of N mastery. Well, it was slightly lower than it, but Killua says because he kept his N up for the entire night while walking, while talking, while teaching them stuff, and did it casually, then Kite might actually be stronger than an N master. And Kite is Jing's student. Anatara said, in the anime, Kite says Ging is the world's greatest hunter. Yeah, and that could just be Kite glazing his mentor, but it could literally just be true, too. All right, let's keep going here. Oh yeah, and then this panel from Ging, like, the reason why Ging was just using the ability he copied from Leorio is because he knew, like, he figured out immediately that Pariston set this whole thing up because he was just trying to see what Jing's Hatsu ability was. He just wanted to see what it was. And Ging has a line of dialogue here. He's like, I took them out on respect of having to follow, like, your crappy script. Do it yourself next time if you want to see my ability so badly. So that tells us that Ging has at least one unique ability that he didn't copy from other people. And another thing about Ging, not only is he just insanely powerful and insanely skilled, he legitimately might be one of the smartest characters in the story. He might. I was thinking about this as I was putting this together. He pretty much outsmarts every smart character that's on screen with him. So, like, this girl right here, she's the current chairman of the association, and she's, like, asking Ging for advice. Like, during the elections, Ging is predicting everything that's going to happen way ahead of time, like, consistently over and over. Like, she's asking him, like, what are you talking about? What's going to happen next? And he's like, it's obviously going to be a stalemate. And like, this whole conversation they have, he's just continuously telling her predictions about what's going to happen over the next couple days. And he's right about everything. And like, this is not the only time he does this. He, like, continuously outsmarts insanely smart hunters. I was going to say, like, his intelligence is probably on par with Kurapika's. He literally might be smarter than Kurapika. He might be. And another thing is, yeah, this is him just, like, straight up giving advice to Cheadle. Like, Cheadle's asking him what's going to happen next, and he, like, tells her, like, 80% of it, and he's like, bro, just figure out the rest yourself. Like, you're a hunter, right? Like stop asking me for the cheat codes. Like use your own brain. Because Ging is just, like, way smarter than everybody that's around him. Another thing is, what was it? Oh yeah, this is him talking about how Pariston has 5,000 Chimera ants now. They're, like, half human, half beast Chimera ants, and all of them have Nen abilities. So technically, that's like 5,000 officer ants. Because if you remember, the at least officer level, because the peon ants could not learn Nen, and Pariston has access to 5,000 officer level ants bare minimum. Some of them might be squadron leader level, and Pariston has access to 5,000 of them. Like, that alone is probably significantly stronger than, like, what the Queen Ant's actual, like, army was. Like, not counting the Royal Guards, obviously, but Pariston has access to all of that. And this is also Ging just saying, like, yeah, if people don't do the stuff Periston wants, he would just like send 5,000 Chimera ants to attack him. And then this is Ging outsmarting a Harvard professor who's like challenging Ging to an area of her own expertise, and Ging just casually beats her at it. And then Jing's like, yeah, I learned all this stuff by just studying what I wanted to without going to school. And he's just beating like a Harvard professor in her own field of expertise casually. Okay. Oh yeah, and that's pretty much all the stuff I wanted to talk about for the Zodiac. So let's get to like putting them on a chart. And I'll do this pretty quickly, and then we can like discuss like the finer details of it. So I would say Ging is number 1. Botobai is probably number 2. Periston and Botobai are like interchangeable. And then if I'm going high tiers, we know this guy got a ranking of a 9 on Hisoka's chart. And then we know this guy got an 8.5. And then Sayu says that the horse is stronger than he is, but that could have just was stronger than the tiger, but that could have just been Sayu like talking trash. But we'll take each statement as literal first, and then we'll like do adjustments. Honestly, Sayu should be Sayu should be somewhere up here too. But let me put Sayu like this, and then maybe I'll move him down to mid tier. And then Kurapika, he's probably the weakest Zodiac member. It's either Kurapika or this bunny girl. I'm not even going to put Leorio up here because it's just genuinely a disgrace. Like, Leorio got made a Zodiac member pretty much just because, like, everyone liked him for punching Ging in the face. But Leorio is fodder. Cheadle. Cheadle, she really could be anywhere. We have no idea of, like, how strong she is. We know she's a triple star hunter. But she's in charge of the medicine team, was it? Let me look back and see that. Cheadle, where is she at? Yeah, so Cheadle. Oh, and she's a disease hunter, by the way. She hunts down diseases. And she's a doctor, part of the science team. So you would assume like everybody on the science team would be some of the weaker Zodiacs. Like she's on the science team. The snake girl is on the science team. And then this girl is on the flora fauna team. And were you guys saying the flora fauna team is for like handling poisons? So here, hold on. Let me move this around. Cheadle might be one of the weakest Zodiac. I'll put her under mid tier. I'll put her below him. And this girl, she's also on the flora fauna team, but she's like a lower rank than Cheadle is. What type of hunter is she? She's a poison hunter. So she might have like poison abilities. She might be able to poison people, but she's a lower rank than Cheadle is. I don't know. Maybe I'll leave her here. She could be above Cheadle because she has like poison maybe, but since Cheadle's a triple star and she's a double, I'll leave her here. Mesostome. Mesostome, we always saw is that he could freeze people with his cards. Kurapika saw Mesostome and was willing to square up with him. But we don't know like the depth of Mesostome's bag. I'll put him below Kurapika though. Kurapika was willing to square up with him and box him. Kurapika might have gotten folded, but he was at least willing to swing. He was at least willing to throw hands. And then this girl, she was talking trash to the sheep Zodiac. She was like telling him to shut up and like insulting him to his face. We don't know if like she's actually strong enough to back up that talk or if she's just crazy. Wait, what team was she on? Yeah, she's on the flora team too. Gathering intelligence and plants after landing. So, I don't know. We literally know nothing about her other than that she trash talked this Zodiac. I mean, if she can back up her trash talk, she would be there. But if she's really just like weak because like one of the weaker ones because she's on the flora team, maybe I'd put her here. She might even be below Kurapika. We have no idea what her powers are. We've seen nothing of her, and we have no statements to go on really at all. And then if I was to put Netero on here, at most he'd be here, but he legit, like if I'm highballing Netero, he's here. If I'm lowballing Netero, he's like, he might be here. He might be something like that. Like if I highball Netero, he's here. Medium ball, he's here. Low ball, he's here. But if I use a highball Netero, I would put him here. But there's a real chance Netero might be something like this. And and honestly, like, who do you guys think is stronger than between Sayu and Pariston? Who do you guys think would win between Sayu and Pariston? Because you could make an argument that, like, it should actually be something like this. Hold up. You could make an argument it could be something like this. But I mean, Pariston just willing to stand in front of all the Zodiac while they're enraged makes me want to put him there and put Sayu here. And then Botobai, the reason Botobai gets ranked so highly is because just of his age, really. Like, he's the oldest of the Zodiac. He's the advisor of the Zodiac. And just, like, based on how Nen works, like, you get stronger if you train your Ten and Ren for, like, longer time frames. And it takes time to expand your Nen capacity and all these things. Like, in theory, the older hunters should be stronger, but it's debatable, right? Like, maybe Sayu did surpass. Maybe Sayu's here. Or maybe Sayu's here. But I think that this would kind of represent, like, if you take every statement literally, like, this is kind of what you get. What do you guys think about this? Is there anything... Oh, and if Morel was on here, so Morel, he stated... So Morel is stated to be weaker than the Zodiac, so if we took that completely literally, Morel would be here. But maybe Morel could be like this. But to be honest, I do think he's weaker than even the Bunny Girl, to be honest. Because, I mean, he's just straight up stated to be weaker. Like, we have it right here in this panel. Where you have all these Zodiac on screen, including Cheadle and the Bunny Girl. And Kanzai the Tiger, he's like, well, look at the dialogue between Botobai and Kanzai. Botobai is like, I don't understand. Why didn't the chairman call on us? Why Morel and Nove? And then Kanzai is like, I'm with you. We're stronger for all intents and purposes. Like, he's not just saying I'm stronger. He's not just saying Jing's stronger. It's like, we're stronger. That could be applied to every person in this page. He's not saying all of us except for Snake and the Rabbit are stronger. He just says we're stronger. And then Cheadle gives him an answer to it, which there's a lot you can talk about with that answer from Cheadle, but I'm saving that for tomorrow's video. Okay. Snailium said, where would you put Crollo on this tier list? Crollo? The new current version of Crollo with Postmortem Nen. Like, if I highball Crollo... No. If I highball Crollo, here. If I lowball Crollo massively, then, like, here. But I don't think he's that low. If I highball Crollo, he's here. If I lowball Crollo, he's here. And a medium ball Crollo would be like... maybe this, but I doubt it. I think he's, like, at the lowest, like, still stronger than him. But I don't see him beating Sayu, to be honest. Like, but he could beat Sayu with a plan, probably. Like, Sayu might be someone he could defeat with a plan. Yasha Flame says, Crollo has Postmortem Nen. Yeah, he does. He does have Postmortem Nen. It's the Sun and Moon ability. Insert name, you think Crollo's above Sayu? I just don't see Crollo saying, like, that he could confidently beat Beyond 1v1. I just don't see that, because Beyond Netero might be Netero level, straight up. Or he could be, like, how his name implies, like, actually Beyond Netero. Anime Monarch says, was the Netero we saw during the Chimera Ant flashback Prime Netero? During the Chimera Ant flashback. What do you mean by the Chimera Ant flashback? I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that. Anime Paradise said, wait, Jing above Netero? It's very possible. I mean, I'm going to be honest, it would make a lot of sense. It would make a lot of sense. Just scaling off of Jing being a top 5 Nen user, like, as possibly as early as 10 years ago. Like, he could have been 22 years old, already a top 5 Nen user. and then just getting stronger every time he fights someone with a punching based ability, getting stronger by training his Ten and Ren, preparing to enter the Dark Continent. I could definitely see 10 years of being a top 5 Nen user. He could probably beat someone like Netero, who hasn't been the #1 Nen user for over 50 years. So it's like, while Ging is just getting stronger and stronger, Netero's getting weaker and weaker. But, I mean, it could be like this. We really don't know. But, all right. That's about everything I wanted to go over here. Anything you guys disagree with? Anything you guys disagree with? Where would you put Postmortem Nen Hisoka on this list? Postmortem Nen Hisoka? Just like that. Maybe above Sayu, but I don't know. That's really debatable. That's really debatable. I don't know if he's actually above Sayu. And something to keep in mind is he never ranked Sayu, Periston, Botabai, or Ging. He never ranked any of them. He only ranked the Tiger, the Bunny Rabbit, and the Sheep guy. And those, for all we know, literally might be the 3 weakest. None of them are triple star hunters. He might have literally ranked the 3 weakest Zodiac for all we know. And the defense team is this Tiger, Botobai, and Sayu, and those 3 are supposed to repel threats stronger than Netero. Like, just those 3 by themselves are supposed to do it, and like, they're confident that they'll succeed. Anno said, is Crollo really that strong? Well, he's definitely a super genius. Yeah, he's pretty strong. Like, he's so strong that Hisoka was more interested in fighting him than he was any of the other Phantom Troop by like a wide margin. Bromus said, Periston's placement, Morel's placement, and Kurapika's placement. Where would you have him, Bromus? Because Periston was the vice chairman for a long time. The Netero we saw, Anime Monarch said, the Netero we saw during the 10,000 punches. So yeah, that was like 45 to 50-year-old Netero. So that was when he reached his pinnacle. Yo Dave said, is Ging beating Meruem in a 1v1? That's debatable. But I think I'm going to save that for tomorrow's video. Bromus said, the only triple stars are Botabai and Cheetle, aren't they? And it's not a statement of power to be a triple star hunter. It just shows achievements. Also, Periston's a triple star too. And I mean, but like, to do a recognizable achievement in the Hunter x Hunter world typically requires power. Typically requires power. Which is why, like, the hunter exam examiners, I think all of them were 1-star hunters, and it's like they're recognized as hunters because of that. I might be wrong. I might be wrong with that, but it's like typically any feat you achieve in the Hunter x Hunter world that's impressive enough to get you a star, you had to be kind of strong to do that. Just because of how dangerous the Hunter x Hunter world is, and like how dangerous hunter missions tend to be. And like, what type of hunter is Periston anyway? Let's go look and see. Does it say? So, no, it just says he was the vice chairman. And it, and Cheetle's model is that she will expel all corruption. And I was trying to see if it listed what type of hunter he was. Oh, and Kanzai is a treasure hunter. Kanzai is a treasure hunter. Let me look at this. Let's see if it lists Periston. It doesn't have Periston. I don't know what type of hunter Periston is. Mesostome's a crime hunter, so like to become a double star crime hunter, you had to defeat serious crime. Botabai's a terrorist hunter, a triple star terrorist hunter, meaning he had to defeat some incredible like terrorist threats. This girl's a botanical hunter, so maybe she just discovered some kind of flora, some dangerous flora maybe, or something that mattered a lot. A paleograph hunter. I'm not exactly sure what paleographs are. She's a poison hunter, so she had to do something like groundbreaking with poison. This guy's a poacher hunter, so he had to take out some like powerful poachers, I suppose. And Sayu's a straight up bounty hunter. So he had to take out some really high-ranking bounties. And we know that the Phantom Troop are A-rank bounties. He might have taken out Phantom Troop level people. Nick says, Triple Star Terrorist Hunter is a wild title to hold. Yeah, no, that's true. It is pretty wild. A Triple Star Terrorist Hunter. Like, imagine who he took out, bro. And Sayu is I think Sayu is a double star bounty hunter, so he took out some insane bounties and trained other people to take out insane bounties. Or just trained other people to do something. Wait, paleograph is ancient languages? Bromus, I would assume that there's something more dangerous than bounties, like, than people with bounties, like, because Phantom Troop are just considered A-class criminals and, like, humongous thieves. But they're still not considered like terrorists. So terrorists might be something even above the Phantom Troop. And Botobai's a triple star terrorist hunter. Kurapika, I think, is also a bounty hunter like Sayu. But I don't have Kurapika's panel. But, alright guys. That's everything I'm going to go over. I got to get back to editing the Zodiac versus Royal Guard video, bro. Bro, the other day I did a live stream at like 3 or 4 in the morning, and that legitimately ruined my sleep schedule, man. It is completely cooked. It is completely cooked. But, alright guys, I'm going to get back to editing this video. Let me know what you think about this stuff in the comments. I'm going to give like a much more detailed, like there's a lot of stuff for the Zodiac I didn't talk about, and I'm going to talk about that in tomorrow's video. Wait, what did Anime Monarch say? He said, if Yuppie is 10 to 12.5 times stronger than Killua, doesn't that mean Poof is 5 times stronger or less than Killua, since he should be physically the weakest of the Royal Guard to a notable degree? I mean, actually, I would say that the gap between Killua and Yuppie was actually probably greater than 10. I think it was 30 times, because, like, Gon's aura was stated to be at 21,500, and Yuppie's was 700,000. So, like, if you do the math on that, let me look at what the actual difference that is. I think it's like 30. Let me see. 700,000 divided by 21,500. That is a 32 times difference. So Yuppie might have been 32 times stronger than Killua. So Poof, I don't know. I don't know where Poof would be on that. Could be close. Could be just like 30 times stronger. But when the Poof that Killua fought, not only was he like poisoned and dying, but he was split into like dozens. Like he had given, I think it said that he gave 7/8 of his power to Meruem, and then it was like just 1/8 of his power remaining. Then he split that 1/8 into like dozens of clones, and then Killua fought one of those clones. Like it was just such a super small fraction of Poof. Like that Poof could have literally had, like the Poof that Killua fought might have literally had less aura than Killua did. And it wasn't even Poof's main body. It was just one of like Poof's many clones. The main body was still with Meruem. And the clones, I think, have less abilities than the main body. Like, I think there's a line of dialogue where Poof said, like, his clones can't produce scales, only his main body can. But alright, guys, that's everything I wanted to talk about. Thank you guys for watching.